What is up, everybody? We got your TNA Impact Wrestling review, and I'm definitely excited because, you know, TNA and wrestling again, so it's always fun. It's always fun, definitely. So, get into it. So, we started off the show with a video package on the BDC and the Rising. I like that the BDC was framed in red to kind of put that, like, they're evil, look out, they're the BDC. Kind of put that kind of mystique on them, so I thought that was kind of cool. Any thoughts on the BDC Rising video package?
Um, it was all right. It definitely kept the build up for, the feud between the BDC and the Rising. Kind of there's finally a group that may be able to take out the BDC because since nobody else has been able to do it. So it just got me really excited to see what's going on this week.
Alright, so next we get a Kurt Angle promo, and he says, I just wanted to address something that caused a lot of buzz. Lashley and I, we had a war. I would not back down from controversy. He called Lashley out. He said, Lashley, come out here. Lashley says, Kurt, when we wrestled last week, something didn't feel right. Probably that his shoulder was up. But he said, you didn't win, Kurt. My shoulder was up. We have tape to prove it. And then I think they showed the tape. And then he said, is that how you're going to win? Kurt Angle, I know, wouldn't take that as a victory. Is that how you're going to beat me? And then Angle retaliates. He says, I will not back down from defending my title. Lashley, I beat you once, and I'm not afraid of beating you again. One more time tonight. And then EY comes out. He says, no, no, no. Look at the rankings, you two meatheads. That's what's wrong with wrestling companies today, something like that. They don't follow the rules. I'm the number one contender. He said, last week I beat Bobby Roode and I earned my spot. And Kurt, I made him tap, Kurt. He says, I showed everybody that I'm better than him. I'm a world-class professional wrestler and champion. That's my belt. You lost. Talking back to Lashley. That puts you in the back of the line, and I'm not going to tell you again. Lashley says, why don't you shut up and earn your spot? EY hits him with, like, the nastiest eye rake that he could possibly muster. And Lashley looks to go for the spear, but he actually spears Angle. And then we go to commercial. Then we come back. Angle says, I keep saying over and over again, I'll fight anyone, whoever I need to. So he says, I'll fight EY and Lashley at the same time. I'm Kurt Angle, and I'm the greatest wrestler in the world. It's real. So you got any thoughts on the promo? Basically kind of setting up the main event, I guess, more so than anything.
One thing I didn't like about it was, Angle comes out and he's basically admitting, what happened. His shoulder was up, blah blah blah. I want to, come clean and make it right, whatever. And then Lashley comes out and he's like, "You didn't win, Kurt." This, and I was like, "Yes, he just admitted that. We know." Like, it doesn't make sense, the writing sometimes. It's like, what are you doing, TNA? Come on. Maybe I'm overanalyzing things like that, but it just doesn't make sense. And I like EY's Kurt, Kurt, Kurt. I'm like, okay, I think he knows you're talking to him. I get it. Like, but it's just, it's building up, more of the rivalry, which to an extent I'm in a way almost already tired of it. I get like that with the main event picture in TNA. They do the same matches over and over again, and you get bored with it really quick. And I don't want to be like that with TNA. I want to be excited for the main events, but I'm just not anymore. I was excited for the first, Lashley Angle match, and then it's like the second one and the third one, and it's like, okay, that's enough. Like, can we stop? But adding EY in there, I guess, kind of changes it up a little bit, but not much. I still want somebody new in the title picture. WWE finally did it. Now TNA needs to get on the bandwagon and give somebody new the title, not somebody who's already had the title, once or twice or whatever. Somebody new, but it was a good promo.
Alright, so next we get a video package on Awesome Kong's basically destruction. It's had some newer footage and some older footage, and basically it was kind of from Gail Kim's viewpoint more so than anybody, just because they're kind of in a feud right now, I guess you could say, and they got a match after this video package. You got any thoughts on that video package?
Not really, no.
Alright, so next we got a number one contenders match for the Knockout title. It's Gail Kim against Awesome Kong. Who would have guessed, from the video package in front of it. So, Kim's looking to take the fight to Kong early, but Kong just, no, you don't touch me. She just powers out of that. Kong, Kim is trying to chop down Kong a little bit, trying to take out the leg. Sunset flip attempt, but Kong just sits down because, the easiest way to do it. Just sits down, and that's, no more sunset flip for you, Gail Kim. So then Kong locks in the camel clutch, and Gail, just can't get it going at this point. Kong does not really care about whatever the moves that Gail Kim's going to throw at her. She is going to knock her down, and she is going to not let you do them. Kong goes for the choke slam, but it's reversed into a submission by Gail Kim. Gail Kim hits a missile drop kick into the guardrail when they got to the outside. A nice cross body by Gail Kim, but Kong kicks out at like 1. Kong hits the exposed turnbuckle that she exposed herself, but she's only down for a 2 count. Gail Kim hits the eat the feet for a long, very long 2 count, and then Gail looks for the triangle choke, but she's met with a sit down power bomb for the win by Awesome Kong. And that was the match. So Awesome Kong is the number one contender, which I'm not really surprised about because they're kind of pushing Awesome Kong to win the title. They've just kind of been, we're going to put her in a title match and then we're going to let her lose and then we're going to come back to it here in a little bit. So that's pretty much what they've done here. I don't know. This match was good, but there were like awkward pauses in this match at times. I felt like. I don't know if it's just because of the differences in size, but like it was one move like in the corner, and like it was either Gail Kim or Awesome Kong. One of them just like paused. They didn't do anything. They just looked at each other, and I was like, what's going on? Is it lagging? But you got any thoughts on the number one contenders match?
I thought it was generally a good match. I think when you put these two in a match, it's gonna even a bad match with them is a good match. Pretty much. And I feel like TNA is pushing a feud with Gail or with Awesome Kong and Taryn Terrell without actually starting a feud with Gail Kim or with Awesome Kong and Taryn Terrell, because they haven't officially had a feud, but they're pushing Awesome Kong to the title picture against Taryn Terrell, and it's like they're using Gail Kim kind of as a bridge to that, and I personally think it should be Gail Kim that should be the number one contender. I think she's just better, in the ring than Awesome Kong, and I think she's always been better than Awesome Kong, and I think it would be a better match, in general than Awesome Kong, but I'm just excited to see what they're doing with the knockouts. We'll get to it a little bit later, but I guess we're getting some new knockouts soon. It's all promo, but we'll get to that.
Yeah, I was trying to figure that out too. I actually forgot what I was gonna say. Actually, after you talked about the new knockouts, I was like, oh yeah, I forgot about them. But I forgot what I was gonna say. Oh, I know what it was. So I feel like Kong's gonna win the title, and then Havoc's gonna make like some kind of surprise return or something, and then we're gonna have a feud between them, like more than just the one cage match they had.
One really bad cage match.
They sent Havoc down to developmental because of that match or something. I don't even know.
It was so bad. So bad.
But next we're backstage with James Storm and Mickey James. James Storm says, well, Mickey just wants to thank James Storm. And, she's like, I know you do the right thing. Well, Storm says, I know, what the right thing is and such things. And he says, she tries to leave, and he says, where's my hug? Typical player line there. Manic comes up, and he's like, what's up with Mickey Bay? But Storm is not having that. He stuffs like whatever that banana muffin I guess he was eating, stuffs that into the mouth of Manic, and he is like, don't ever disrespect Mickey or something like that. I didn't write down everything from this. And then he says, gather up the boys. We're gonna have a fight. So any thoughts on that short backstage thing with Mickey and what they're trying to do with James Storm and Magnus? I take it sometime soon.
I don't even think TNA knows what they're doing with, James Storm and the Revolution. But Manic, I thought was kind of funny in this in this segment. What's up with Mickey Bay? I thought that was kind of funny. But just kind of built up the storyline a little bit, kind of planted the question mark in your mind. What's going on? What are they gonna do with this? Because there's a bunch of different ways I guess they could go with it. It's just what they decided to do. Because they are building up the angle that they have been friends for years, so that could play a part in it. Which it's weird because the way they're playing it is that James Storm and Mickey James have been friends for years, but Magnus had no idea. Wouldn't you know that about your wife? Like you're married. I would think you would know, and you've both been in the company as long as James Storm has, pretty much. Wouldn't you know? Come on now.
He's just a little creeped out by the barn and all the weird things James Storm does. He doesn't want that happening to his wife. That's what it is. James Storm got to have his bae too. Come on, Mickey Bay.
Yeah.
But next, James Storm just appears in the ring. This was after a commercial, and he's gonna cut a promo. He says, "I'm gonna make myself very clear. I had a vision of a group, a revolution, not a babysitting club." He says, "Each and every one of you guys failed me, just like Sonata." And he pointed out that Sonata is not there anymore because he failed one too many times. He said, "I cut him down, and his name will never be spoken in this revolution again." He says, we always say there's always room for one more, but now there's always room for one less. He says, you guys will fight one another to see what's me in the tag team gold thing next week. He says the only rule is there has to be a winner. He says that to the ref. And then he throws some kind of random stick in the ring instead of like, so who needs a ring bell when you got a stick, Needs it. Any thoughts on the promo before the match?
It was interesting, that apparently he can just, book his own matches. He has that ability now, apparently, I didn't know he paid the referees, but hey, I guess if you've been in TNA long enough, you just kind of, you're given these roles, I guess. I don't know. That's the only thing that kind of was like, I was like, what? Wait, what?
Power of the stick. I guess anyone can book whatever they want to now, though, since they don't have a director of operations type of guy. I guess you just do what you want. I guess I'm gonna show up next week. I'm gonna be in the tag team gold. It's gonna be me and you versus no one. We're just gonna advance.
Well, yeah.
All right. So next we got Abyss versus Koya versus Manic. I don't know if I actually said the names during the promo, but those were the three guys that were in the ring. Manic bails out, kind of gonna grab him a chair because he's gonna chill for a little bit, let Abyss and Koya take each other out. Abyss takes out Koya. Manic comes in with a chair shot. Then he hits a nice air drop kick on Abyss. Abyss comes back with a back elbow. Manic catches himself in the ropes with his typical, Spider. I guess you call it Spider-Man type of catch. In the ropes, but he gets kicked out of the ring. I like that he got kicked out of the ring because usually he just moves and it's predictable. But I like that Abyss just said, screw your stupid Spider-Man gimmick crap. I'm gonna kick you out of this ring, and he did it. And then Abyss starts to attack Koya. Manic hits Abyss with a drop kick. Manic's caught in a choke slam clutch by Abyss, and then he turns that into an armbar, which I loved. And then Koya came back in, and he breaks it up with the stick, just beating everyone with the stick. And then he hits a huge sky high for the win. So Koya is going to team James Storm next week in Tag Team Gold, which is pretty cool because we haven't seen a lot of Koya. So I'm kind of glad they did this. I was kind of hoping Manic, but I'm glad they did it with Koya just to kind of see what he can do. And that sky high was ridiculously high. Like he was like, I think he almost hit his head on the ceiling or something. That thing was ridiculous. If he does it like that, I'll be happy. He should do it like that all the time. You got any thoughts on this triple threat match?
Yeah, I mean, even though Koya won, and I am excited to see a little bit more of Koya because we haven't really seen that much of him since he's joined the Revolution and debuted in TNA. I still felt like Manic was the star of this match. You know, he was definitely the spotlight of this match. And I realized during this match that Abyss is sort of like Kane in the fact that why are you still here? You don't do any. He just kind of, he's so big and he just he's not even entertaining anymore. I don't know, but I feel like they're sort of beginning to start to kind of disband the Revolution because it seems like they don't have anything to do with them. Like they don't have any ideas anymore. You know, they could have done the Revolution versus the BDC somehow, and they never did that. And it's like it's just not going anywhere. It feels like
they did lockdown way too early, I think.
Yeah. It just seems like there's nothing for them to do with them anymore, and it feels like they're going more with the BDC, which is understandable. It seems like the BDC is working out better, and now they have the Rising, but it just doesn't seem like they really have any, like the Revolution doesn't seem like they have any set rivals. It's just kind of like whoever they come across.
It won't hurt the Revolution to break up because, especially with this lack of tag teams they have without the Wolves, it probably wouldn't hurt the Revolution to break up and maybe put Manic and Snot in a team. They kind of have that common bond from the Revolution a little bit.
Yeah.
I don't think it would hurt them to do that.
Yeah. And I don't like how they didn't really write off like Manic. It didn't seem like it. It just seemed like this week they were like, "Oh, he's gone." I'm like, "What? What? I don't remember him like being kicked out, but maybe I missed something."
Just disappeared. He spit the mist in the air and he was gone.
Yeah, but it was a good match. I liked it.
All right, so next week we're back with the Ghost Asylum team, and basically we're gonna get the results from what they found from the barn or the shed or whatever you call that thing James Storm owns in the middle of some sort of woods somewhere. Basically, they got back to James Storm and he says, "You want to pledge?" I didn't really like this that much this week, but I just kind of like some of the responses. He was like, "You want to pledge to the Revolution?" Asking James Storm. James Storm asked the Ghost Asylum team, and one of the dudes was like, he had his phone out, was like, "I'll text you." And I was like, "Yes." I was like, just text him. He seems like the type, especially in this Revolution gimmick, that'll be the one to text you. But any thoughts on that at all?
Not really. It's kind of a cheap plug for Destination America shows. And they did kind of some cheap special effects where like Abyss like kind of disappears for a second. I was just like, wait, what? It's just kind of dumb. But it did what it was supposed to do. Like last week, it did was what it was supposed to do. Give you, oh well, maybe this is an interesting show. We'll go watch this.
Yeah. I mean, it definitely doesn't hurt TNA to do it because, Destination America is putting commercials during Raw and SmackDown and stuff like that. So I don't, it doesn't hurt them. Wouldn't hurt to add it in, I guess.
Yeah.
But next we get the Rising promo. We learn that we have Eli Drake and Micah in the Rising now. And Drew Galloway says, "My name is Drew Galloway, and all I've ever wanted to do is be a pro wrestler. I started when I was 15 years old, and I will do it till I can't." He said, "I may even do it, even when I can't." So I want to take a moment to thank you. I'm fired up. I came here because I want to see change in the sport I love. We're going to change professional wrestling for the better. Here's the reality. Sometimes you put down the gun to pick up the gun. We are the Rising. You are the Rising. He looks at both of the other two members. He says, "Introduce yourself to the world." First guy grabs the mic, and he says, I think the first one was Micah, I'm pretty sure. Says, "TNA, I stand next to my friend Drew. My name is Micah, and wrestling is pumping through my veins." He talked about kind of his family line with wrestling. He says, "He did say stand up, and I knew I had to stand. The BDC, you're a bunch of bullies. You know what we do to bullies? We stand up and punch them right in their mouths." And then he gives the microphone to Eli Drake, and he says, "Who is Eli Drake?" And we have I don't know if I wrote that right, but he says, "Who is Eli Drake?" And we have a common bond. We're not superstars. We are professional wrestlers, taking a shot at WWE there, it looks like. He said, "I heard the call for a change, and I stood up." Drew grabs the mic again. He says, "Trust me, no longer will we suffer in silence. The BDC wanted a war. Orlando, are you ready to give them a war?" And then the BDC comes out. I'm pretty sure the BDC's music changes every single week, just slightly. Like, they add something onto the beginning of it or something, like, ever so slightly every week. It's, like, slightly longer every week. But MVP says, "Rising? Is that what you call this collection of kitty cats? A rising like bread or dough?" He turns to Kenny King. He says, "This rising reminds you of what?" Kenny King says, "A yeast infection." He says, "You want to try and stand up? Punks jump up." He said it's an old quote. "Punks jump up to get beat down. It's a real short story, and it ends tonight." And then Drew says, 3. They slightly get out of the ring. 2. They get down. 1, and then they attack. So then we got a match between the Rising and the BDC, and we'll get to that after Casey gives any thoughts he may have. Possibly.
The Rising is my new official favorite just team ever. They're awesome. Micah is obviously I guess the son of Haku, who, if you don't know, he was a really kind of popular wrestler in the early mid 90s, into the 2000s. I think he wrestled for WCW, and I think he did wrestle for WWE too. So just the fact that he's the son of Haku, he's obviously gonna be exciting. Should be. And from the match tonight, he was. And then Eli Drake is just awesome on the mic and in the ring. He's awesome. And I was thinking, I was like, Eli Drake, that sounds familiar. And then I looked it up, and he, if you guys don't know, he was actually previously signed to NXT. But also, before that, he had a couple appearances in WWE. Back in 2006, he teamed with Jon Moxley, a.k.a. Dean Ambrose. It's kind of jobbers back then. And then after that, in 2008, he teamed with Gene Snitsky in ECW for a match. Look that up on Wikipedia. Wikipedia didn't ruin it this week. It actually helped. But yeah, I was like, I know that name. But I'm excited for these guys. You know, they look obviously they're good on the mic. From the match, they seem good in the ring. You know, so I'm excited. It seems like they mesh well together, the three of them. You know.
Yeah, Eli Drake is gold. When I was listening to him, I was like, please talk more. Like I was excited. Like I was just excited to see what they were gonna say. You know how they were gonna present themselves. And Eli Drake's got a lot of like charisma to him too. Like it all like matches up. So I'm excited about this. But next we got the Rising versus the BDC, which is very exciting as well. The Rising takes the fight outside. We get kind of a let them fight type of chant. Then we go to commercial. We come back. We got a match. Who would have thought? So Kenny King and Eli Drake start out. Yeah, Kenny King and Eli Drake start out. King takes advantage. Low key, just standing like low key is like ridiculous. Like he was like on like the top rope. I'm like he's gonna jump in the ring. It's gonna happen. Like it's pretty much that's what low key does. But the BDC looks to corner Micah. Micah comes back with some strikes and a drop kick. Kenny King pushes Micah off of the turnbuckle. And Micah continues to get isolated. Galloway finally gets in and takes everybody out. He gets his hands on low key. Get a nice catching inverted body drop by Eli Drake. I really didn't know what to call it, so I called it whatever I could best call it because it was beautiful. And then Micah with a nice big splash onto the BDC outside, and then someone interfered. And he didn't have like the Nixon mask though. I kind of was unfortunate. He should have stayed with the team, but he came out, had I think it might have been a lead pipe symbolism there. I think it might have been a lead pipe, but revealed himself as Homicide, and I would say that makes a ton of sense because what I like about the BDC is they're like this gang. You know, like that's what they feel like. They feel like just like a gang that's just in professional wrestling, and you know, Homicide and Low Key in the same gang. Like I wouldn't want to meet them like in the streets. I guess you could say. But I think it's pretty. I like the BDC. I think the BDC has grown on me. When I first heard the name, I was like, no, that sounds retarded. But I mean, that sounds stupid. But you know, it just was. I was just like, I can't. But now, like now that they kind of grown themselves a little bit, I kind of like it. I'm kind of a fan. I'm pretty much a fan. Any thoughts on the match?
Yeah, I still think the BDC name is kind of stupid, and you know, MVP annoys the crap out of me still.
Cause you're a flat scan. That's what it.
I like the rest of them. I like the rest of them. They're growing on me. But it was a great match. The Rising, like I said, were awesome in this match, even though they, well, didn't technically lose. It was disqualification. But then, you know, when Homicide came in, I was like, oh my God, it's Homicide. And I realized he didn't really get a big pop, but I feel like that's just because people didn't either realize who it was or he's just been out of TNA for long enough that they're like, who? Who's that? Because he was a really big star in TNA, you know, back with Hernandez. I feel like Hernandez was a little bit bigger of a star, but you know, back with LAX and everything. So you know, hopefully they kind of. I feel like he's a better fit in the BDC necessarily than Samoa Joe was. You know, Samoa Joe, I never really saw him as a type of guy that, you know, wrestler that was in like a group. He seemed always like, you know, an independent guy, you know, just gonna, you know, have his match, you know, do his business, and then, you know, go alone in his locker room and not talk to anybody. You know, but it seems like Homicide is a better fit. Like he would mesh well better with them. It makes more sense to me. So I'm excited to see, you know, is the Rising gonna still overcome 4-on-3 odds? You know, what's going on with that? You know.
Yeah, I know they said something about that in a later promo, and I was like wondering, are they going to add somebody else to the Rising, or is it just going to be 4-on-3 from now on? But next we got Kurt Angle backstage. You know, he says he accepts all challenges, and then he talks about EY. He says EY is one of the, and EY attacks him. Um, he said the world title goes through me. This is mine. This is my belt. You know, holding up the belt, and then kind of just dips. And then after that, we got like an angle type of checkup type of thing that they kind of do in wrestling a lot. He says I'm good, I'm fine, doc. You know, I'm wrestling tonight. There's nothing gonna keep me out of this match. You know, typical doctor checkup. I don't even know why they have those doctors. Don't look at me. Don't look at me. I'm fine. You know. So, any thoughts on EY attacking Kurt Angle and then the checkup type of thing?
EY crazy. Yo, he crazy. He crazy. But I figured it out. I figured out why he's so angry. If you guys don't know, he is an avid fisherman. He actually used to have his own show on Discovery Channel for a while there. The problem is, in these lovely United States, we have had such a brutal winter that he hasn't been able to fish for so many months that he's just angry. He needs to just go out on the boat and fish. That is why he's so angry. It has nothing to do with the title. He's just angry because he hasn't been able to fish. And we should feel bad for him. No, but I like, TNA kind of took the same mentality that WWE did when they did, Seth Rollins' heel turn, because we all, when we knew somebody was going to turn in the Shield, we all figured it was going to be, Dean Ambrose, because Dean Ambrose seemed like he could be a good heel, like he would be the typical heel. But taking the big face from the group and making them a heel made it so much better. And I feel like that's what TNA did with Eric Young. He was such a big face that just turning him heel is like, it works so well, more than we would have thought. And then there's John Cena, who it would never work. So we can't do that ever. So we just, anyway, sorry, almost gotten on a Cena rant there. I apologize.
If you were, and by the way, just a little jab at Casey. If you were looking for the podcast, the Jericho podcast, our thoughts on that, we won't be doing that because Casey hates John Cena and can't watch it.
It's because John Cena is McMahon's puppet, so he's going to say anything McMahon wants to say, so you're not going to get any truth out of him. It's not like Triple H or Vince McMahon with Austin.
Wait a minute. Vince McMahon is Vince McMahon's puppet, technically. He's Vince McMahon.
Yeah, and he lied through his teeth, too. But he knew Austin wasn't afraid to stunner him. And, he don't want that no more. That's why.
All right. So next we got DJZ versus Davey Richards. So Davey Richards getting his first singles action since Eddie Edwards' injury. They try to go technical a little bit here early on, but Davey takes advantage of that. They kind of do a showcase of athleticism. The Davey, he gets the best because he's Davey Richards. And DJZ is like DJZ. So, follows it up with a running apron knee. Z comes back with the springboard drop kick. It knocks Davey out of the ring. Get a nice corkscrew moonsault by DJZ, but it's reversed. That gives Davey the advantage. Suicide dive by Davey. Nice springboard round kick by Davey for 2. Z comes back with the jawbreaker, going for a superplex, but Davey fights out. Goes for the double foot stomp, rolls through because DJZ moved out of the way, and then DJZ tries his like slide in to the ring DDT, but he gets caught with the creeping death, I think is what they call it. It's a spinning round kick for the win by Davey Richards, and I like it. I was saying. So this was a good match. They said this was the X Division match of the evening, which was nice. I thought it was a pretty good match. I think two really talented guys. I think if these two guys had a pay-per-view match, it could be really good. Um, but any thoughts on this X Division match of the night?
I was excited to see Davey in a singles competition. Little bit of a side note before I get into the match more. Someone confirmed this for me, but I feel like they either record multiple shows in the same day or the same fans come back in Orlando, because I saw some of the same fans that I saw this week, especially during this match. There was one guy with a kind of rainbow mohawk on, and I swear I saw him last week.
The same fans come back and sit in the same spot. I don't know how they do that. I can't remember, because I know when they were doing them in, I think it was New York, maybe. There was like always a lady in the middle of the screen with a Magnus shirt. I don't know if you remember that, but like I would always see that lady. I can't remember, because I'm not really sure. Hopefully somebody knows. I can't. I don't know if I would like to sit through like 4 shows. So it would. I guess it would make more sense for them to.
I would.
I probably would, but it's probably easier on the fans, I guess, to do it over the course of 3 days. Probably is how they do it.
Yeah. But anyway, this match kind of showed just a little glimpse of what Davey could do, which is awesome. You wouldn't want to show too much, because he can do a lot. He's really talented in singles competition too. If you've ever seen him, in Ring of Honor or whatever, any other companies he's been in, he is really good in singles competition, and so is Eddie. So the fact that unfortunately it was because Eddie got injured, but he does now get a chance to kind of show what he can do in singles competition. And I really want him to go for the X Division title, because I feel like he could definitely bring back a little bit more legitimacy to the X Division title right now. It just kind of feels like it's kind of obscure right now. It's not, it's not nearly what it used to be, which is unfortunate. So, hopefully they give him the title, depending on how long Eddie is out, and the way they're talking, he's going to be out for quite a while. So, maybe he'll get a pretty good X Division run, which would be cool.
Yeah, I agree. I'm excited for Davey Richards' single stuff. Next, we're backstage with the BDC, and obviously TNA's got these sneaky cameraman, got the stealth on 100 overall stealth. But this guy was like at like a 90, 99, so he gets caught every once in a while. The BDC look over, they're talking strategy, and they look over and they're like, MVP says, "Why don't you come join the conversation?" And he says, "You saw Homicide, an original member of the BDC, the Familia, whatever." I really couldn't catch everything that was said in this promo, but basically Homicide is ready, Kenny King is ready, and he says, "Look," he said, "you make it 3-on-3, we make it 4-on-3. Stand up to get beat down. We are the BDC, and we do what we want because we can." I kind of like the "you stand up to get beat down" thing. I think it's kind of a cool thing. And then after that, we got a video package on I don't even know what to call them. It said a Dollhouse production. I just put Dollhouse production. It was Jade and Marty Bell. So 2 new knockouts, it looks like. I guess they're coming in together, which is kind of cool. And exciting. There's not a ton of knockouts right now. Hashtag bring back Brittany. Excuse me. No, but there's not a ton of knockouts. So it'll be kind of cool to see some new ones. Any thoughts on the BDC backstage? um, the cameraman not being as sneaky as he should be, and the video package on the Dollhouse production.
Yeah, that cameraman, he's like that guy in playing, Modern Warfare, where he's good most of the time, but there's that one time where he gets shot, and you're like, man, you had that. But he did say, MVP did say something about, Homicide is an original member. He's just been on injury reserve or something like that. I don't know. Uh, but as for the Dollhouse production, whatever, it's it's a kind of, they can debut them together, I guess. But if they're debuting them as a team, it doesn't really make sense because the only other team was torn apart when Velvet Sky got fired, so that wouldn't make sense because there's no other, real Knockouts tag team, and they don't have the Knockouts tag team titles anymore, which sucks. That was one cool thing about TNA is, they had the Knockouts tag team titles. EY was, one of them at one point, which, is kind of cool, Um, but I'm excited to see, what they bring to the table.
It was a little bit creepy though. I felt like
A little bit, yeah.
a little bit.
Stabbing dolls, because, yeah.
All right, so next we get a Hardy's promo. Basically, this was kind of to set up the tag team gold thing that they're doing next week, where supposedly it's supposed to be. I think they're gonna have like qualifying matches, and then the winners of those qualifying matches go on to an Ultimate X tag team match. So that'll be fun. I'm not sure how many teams are supposed to be in that X Division match. I mean the Ultimate X match, but I don't know. I guess we'll see next week. But Jeff starts his kind of Hardy's revenge chant with the fans. The fans actually, decided they wanted to play along tonight instead of making Jeff wait 3 or 4 times before, he got to it. He got the rhythm going. So he kind of got it going tonight. The Hardys say it's time to move on to something new, something we've never done. I'm probably not going to go through all of this because basically everyone said some things. So I'm just going to just cut it down a little bit. So the Hardys are there, and then EC3 comes out, and he, talks about Matthew and Jeffrey, in his dapper voice, in his, holier than thou voice, and then he has Tyrus with him, but he says, me and Sweet Tea, we ain't gonna team up tonight. Next week. We gonna wait on that. We got a future later. He gonna team up with Bram because he can beat up anyone ever. Bram's not in the mood. Bram is not having it. He is not in the mood. He just wants to batter everyone. I actually thought there was going to be a match here because Tyrus was in wrestling gear. Bram was in wrestling gear. EC3 was in his suit, so he was going to chill. So I thought we were going to get a tag team match, but we didn't. And then Mr. Anderson comes out, and he basically tells EC3 that he's not the odds-on favorite. He tells him that he may be the odds-on favorite to have the smallest wiener, maybe, perhaps. So, letting him know. But he introduces his tag partner, and his music plays, and it's Rockstar Spud. Anderson introduces himself, and Spud's like, and Spud, obviously, and Anderson's like, why do you keep doing that? But, so we got them, and then Aries comes out with his briefcase, of course, because I feel like he's like the only one that has the rights to carry his, because no one else carries theirs. So Aries comes out with his briefcase, and he's like, I got all the options, I'm going to be the champ, blah, blah, blah. And then basically he brings out his partner, which is Bobby Roode. So we got Bobby Roode and Austin Aries. We got a Mr. Anderson and Rockstar Spud, or Mr. Anders Spud, I guess you could say, as Ryan would call them. You got Bram and EC3, and you got Jeff and Matt Hardy. And I don't know if they're going to face off against each other or if they're going to face off against random team number 1, 2, and 3, and 4 or something. I'm not really sure. So, any thoughts on that?
From what I thought, this was supposed to be a tournament, and then from the preview, it just looks like a big, match. And just, what is it, TNA? Is it a tournament or is it just a big match? That's what I need to know. Is there eliminations? Because if there's not eliminations, it's not a tournament. It's really not. It's just an Ultimate X match for the tag team titles, which, whatever. But,
Nobody cares about them.
yeah, whatever. But I love Jeff, but he needs to just shut the hell up. Just stop. Stop trying to make chants because you can't do it. Just you climb ladders and jump off. That's what you do. You climb ladders and you jump off. But anyway, EC3 is teaming with Bram, which I was like, so the feud with Magnus is officially done? Because it didn't seem like it was really. So it was just kind of like, what? And then you have to remember Magnus still has the briefcase for the tag team titles, so that's going to come into picture eventually. And Mr. Anderson is teaming up with Spud? No. Spud is supposed to team up with Mandrews. This is what's supposed to happen. Stop ruining things, TNA. But I do love the little back and forth between between Anderson and EC3. That's always funny. Just the way they kind of work off each other. And then we get Aries and Bobby Roode, which makes more sense than some of these other teams. But I feel like they're building up the Hardys to finally win. Since they're getting older, and it's one of the titles they haven't won yet. Which I don't. I could be wrong, but I think they've only won like the WWE tag team titles and maybe the WCW, and then the WWE World Tag Team titles. It's so confusing back when WWE had two sets of titles, and one was the tag team titles and one was the World Tag Team titles. But I don't think they've won any other tag team titles like in New Japan or any other places. I could be wrong, but I don't think they have, which is weird because they're a big enough team. Like they're almost as big as like the Dudleys, and Edge and Christian, whatever. So it's kind of weird that they haven't. Maybe I'm wrong. Somebody correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think they have. But like I said, I feel like TNA is finally building them up to finally maybe win the titles. It just seems like that's how the promos are pushing it. And none of these other teams really seem like they would win the tag team titles. They don't seem like legitimate teams. It just seems like teams that TNA kind of threw together for the tournament, except for like Bobby Roode and Austin Aries. But Aries has the briefcase, so I don't think they would give him multiple titles at once. They don't usually do that. But we'll see what happens.
All right. Once again, I forgot what I was gonna say. Oh, I know what it was. So I guess WWE had the World Tag Team titles, and then they had a little bit of the World Tag Team titles, like half the World Tag Team titles or something. I don't know. They just had two sets of titles, which was pretty weird. But they had to split the brands too, so it was like.
Yeah, that was the stupidest thing they've ever done. That was so dumb.
They had the WWE title, and then they had the World title, so they had the champion of the world and the champion of just the company. I don't know. Anyway, but next we got EY versus Bobby Lashley versus Kurt Angle for the TNA World Heavyweight Championship. This was not built as big as the other ones, and it kind of makes sense because the match was made tonight rather than made like in the past. So like the Angle Lashley matches were kind of made in the past, so they were built a little bit bigger, I guess. I don't know. It was interesting. So Do you want to take this match? I didn't give you a match. I feel bad.
Nah, you take it. Go
All right.
ahead.
All right. So, EY slides out, but Lashley takes advantage of Angle, but then EY causes a distraction, and then Angle takes advantage. EY is brought back in. He gets beat down. EY, he rolls back out of the ring. He looks to leave. He's like, see ya, I'm gone. Forget this title. I will live to be crazy another day. But Angle and Lashley chase him down and beat him down some more. EY tries to take control after a little bit here, but then he's met with a German. EY hits the nice catching power driver after he, gets his wits about him from the German. He hits the catching power driver on Angle for 2. Lashley hits a spear for 2. Angle gets control with Germans on everyone. And then he gets the ankle lock on Lashley. Lashley rolls through. Angle goes out of the ring. EY locks in the figure 4. So that's like double the pressure on Lashley's injured leg that he had tweaked during the match early on. EY grabs a chair. He sets it up in the corner. Lashley takes advantage. Lashley's looking for the spear, but he runs into the chair, which I had a feeling was going to happen. Angle slams for everyone, and then EY, kind of falls out of the ring, and then Angle hits the moonsault on Lashley, kind of on his leg area, for the win. So Angle wins, and I think they just put a nail in the Angle Lashley feud just now with him pinning Lashley instead of EY, because it opens up the door for EY to be like, well, I didn't really lose. Or I didn't really lose. Punch Fame, So it opens up the door for him to still kind of be in the hunt a little bit. After the match, EY is not done. He attacks Lashley's leg with a chair. He locks in the figure 4 and doesn't want to break it. The only thing about these, like, after the match things sometimes with just wrestling companies in general is like, so Angle is a face, and he left the ring, but when they start ringing the bell crazily because EY is beating the crap out of Lashley, wouldn't Angle be like, let me come back out there and help Lashley instead of being like, just got done with a match, I'm gonna go take a nap, like I don't understand that, like why can't Angle come back out and help Lashley? But I guess they gotta, I guess they're writing Lashley off for a second or two. I guess, maybe. You have any thoughts on this match? Be sure to unmute yourself as well.
I forgot that I had muted myself for a little bit there. It was an okay match. I feel like it is opening up a door, kind of doing, not necessarily opening up a door, but transitioning from, Lashley to EY more as the, number one contender, which will be interesting because I don't remember really seeing any, EY Angle matches in the past, or any like relevant ones. Not to say that any of EY's matches aren't relevant, but back when he was kind of a mid card guy and they weren't really taking him seriously. Now that they're, he is a top guy. It means a little bit more. So, but again, I want to see somebody new in the title picture. Some fresh face, somebody that hasn't had the title before. Or a big return, that could go for the title, but I'm excited to see, EY and Angle. Yeah.
All right, so that is your TNA review for 4/10, I think it was, the 10th of April, 2015. We're getting down through this year pretty quickly. We got a couple comments from LB Clash of Kings. He just seems to show up all the time. I don't know how he does it. I don't even know how he knows. How does he know? How does he know we're here? But got some comments. He said Spud is equal to future world champ. I am a Spud fan, smiley face. I can't show them because my comment tracker does not like me anymore. So I can't show them. I apologize. Um, he's he laughed at Casey John Cena rant slash promo. Um, he says he thinks James Storm is in storyline is using Mickey James to get Magnus to join the Revolution to replace Abyss because Magnus has the tag team title Feast or Fire briefcase. That would make sense a little bit.
Yeah.
Never thought, didn't think of that. Um, he says I like that we're getting new knockouts. Talking about the Dollhouse production thingamabobber. He says, but after reading some spoilers, don't do that. It's not nice. It's not a good thing. And watch out for Wikipedia. They're dangerous. He says after reading some spoilers, I won't expose, but we're actually getting 3 or 4 new knockouts who are just signed that will debut in TNA soon. So the knockouts division is getting kind of big.
Ooh.
Brittany, my girl, needs to come back. I'm telling you, just put her in there, you know.
No, he said debut. He said debut, not re-debut. Debut.
I mean, all they gotta do is debut her as a different name. We'll be good. Santana. There you go. It's a real name. but you know, maybe we'll get a 5th, 4 to 5. You know, Brittany. TNA.
AJ Lee.
maybe. CM Punk? No. Who knows? Who knows what we can see from TNA? We've seen some debuts of people I haven't personally seen before. So that's a good thing. I think that's kind of what we wanted when we talked about our State of TNA review or video a little while ago. Some time ago, we talked about new faces, please, and we're getting them. So that's always a good thing. And definitely excited for some future things. You have any final thoughts that you need to just get off your chest because, you know?
If LB Clash Kings wants to, send me the link to that spoiler, so that I can find out who we get in, that'd be great. You could do that. My Twitter is, it's right down there. So you go send me that. But I'm excited. Not that they're gonna re-legitimize the Knockouts division because it's not as damaged as the Divas division, but it is pretty bad right now. So unless we get really good knockouts who are really talented and get legitimate shots at the title, I don't know. But I'm excited to see where all these storylines go and things like that, especially with the Rising and the BDC. But yeah.
All right. So there we go, TNA Impact Review. I hope you enjoyed. If you have any comments, why don't you just leave them? So I can read them and then I can respond. I do respond to people. I do. We had another person comment on like a video from like 3 weeks ago, and I was like, "Ooh, hello." So I responded to him. So I do. I talk to you. I let you know how I feel. But I hope you enjoyed. Feel free to give it a like because that's very helpful. It makes me say, "Oh, people like the video. Good." So follow me on Twitter if you'd like. Follow him on Twitter if you'd like. You saw it throughout the video, and also follow the podcast. It's to my left.
And LB Clash King, send me that link. Right there.
All right, guys. See you guys later. Peace.